Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Let's Get Clacking, and in today's video we're going to go over some home improvements. There is a new series out on Netflix called Get Organized with the Home Edit, and as you may be able to tell, I'm mildly obsessed with organization. So what I did until probably about 12 o'clock at night is I organized my kitchen. In Get Organized with the Home Edit, what they do is they obviously organize your entire pantry, your clothing cupboard, anything in the house that needs organizing, and they put it into different kind of categories. Now, I'm not going to go too far into it because it doesn't really have anything to do with this video, but what I did was I reorganized everything in my pantry because it was a bit of a mess. Like, it was kind of things shoved everywhere. You know, you buy more tins of tomato and onion mix and then you kind of just leave them there, but then there's like 4 more tins at the top that you didn't even realize you had. Anyway, that's pretty much what happened to me. So I managed to find things that I didn't even know that I had in my pantry and organized everything, put everything into certain categories, all the baking stuff together, all the breakfast things together, all the quick meals, etc. What I then realized that I needed to do was to create labels, and I have a Cameo, I have adhesive vinyl, I have a foil quill. Let's see what happens. So what I did was I made these little stickers. As you can see, it's matte adhesive vinyl, and I used the foil quill to give them a little bit of a pop. I also made green ones, and I'm going to be making other colors. You can pretty much do it however you like. The gold ones are more the, I hesitate to say, unhealthy kind of meals. And then I did labels with green foil. My cut settings were wrong on this one, so ignore the fact that it's not on the backing sheet. I did green ones for the healthy stuff like quinoa, nuts, oats and rice. Before we get started, a couple things that you may not know that will have really helped me to grow my channel. To give my videos a thumbs up if you enjoy them, subscribe to my channel, as well as watch my videos the whole way through. I would really appreciate that, as it helps me to bring you guys more videos in the future. So this is what we're going to be making today. Let's get clacking. So for something different, I'm actually going to get started with the page setup, because the page setup is pretty much the most important part of this video. So remove the protector sheet. Then we cut off a piece of transfer tape. Transfer tape sticky side up on your mat. Then we take our vinyl, we put our vinyl down on the second block. And this is where you can really flatten out your vinyl. Then we take our foil next, and then we measure off a piece that's just about right. And then we place our foil down. Try something different. You can get the placement right on both the left or the top and the bottom, because we've got a very small margin that we're dealing with. I've obviously got long nails, so I can do this really easily. It's just run my nail across the edge just to make sure that it really sticks down. It gives it a little bit of extra grip, and I really like that. Okay, so now we can prep our foil quill. For these ones, I'm going to be using the thick foil quill, and I already have the D attachment on this. And I'm going to be using this for the Cameo 4, and the attachment is screwed on quite strongly, and that's what the foil quill looks like, okay, without the attachment. So it's quite a big attachment. It won't even fit into the Cameo adapter for the pen, but that's fine because we don't actually want to use it. It doesn't actually work that nicely. I've tried it and the foil quill didn't even touch the page, so it's fine. The D adapter works beautifully, and I'll show you how to use it in a moment. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug it in. Okay, so it's plugged in, it's got the little blue light that's showing, and it'll start warming up. I normally just leave mine warming up lying somewhere. It's got the little metal thingy that goes underneath it, which you can actually leave it on. It's much safer and you won't burn anything. But now we can get started with the Cameo section. The design that I have on Silhouette Studio is almost identical to what we see in our mats, and I've just put in 4 shapes that I wanted to have the outline of my tags for my kitchen containers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all 4 of them, and I'm going to go to the offset panel, and I'm going to apply an internal offset of 0.35. There we go. Okay. Now, in order to get a general feel for what the tags will actually look like, I'm going to change this line color to like an orangey color, because we're obviously using the gold foil. And I'm going to change the weighting to 2 points. It'll give us a nice, thick, bold color. I'm also going to change the text to the same orange. I hope this was the same orange. And I'm going to change the text font to... Ooh. It was one of my sketch fonts. I think it might have been this sketch font. So let's go... Yes, this was the sketch font. Okay, so it was Georgia Peach sketch font that I'm using for this one. Sketch fonts are generally the best idea to use for your foil quill because they only have to go over one line. And that's why I'm using the thick one, because I want it to be quite a bold line. So I've just grouped the black pieces together. And then I want to go in and to center these designs when I'm done with them. So I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. And I'm going to change the pointage to 2 so that it's nice and thick. Make that a little bit bigger. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that to the side. Whoa. Every time you're trying to select them, you touch something else. The struggle is real. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the word and I'm going to make a compound path. The reason I do this is because of centering. Now I like things to be perfectly centered, so if you have to center it when it's not a compound path, then the font typically the font will be in the lower 2/3 of the quadrant, and then it'll then bring the font lower into the item than what it actually is. So by doing this, you allow it to be centered correctly, like they're just centered properly. So I'm going to select the words, make them a compound path. See what I mean about the clicking the wrong thing? It drives me nuts. There we go. If there's an easier way to do that, please tell me. I'm always happy to learn. Okay, so we've made them all compound paths. So I'm going to start with that one. Center that, make that one, center that. That doesn't look very centered. Okay, that's not quite centered, so I'm actually just going to move that up a little bit. And that one as well. I'll move that down. So that didn't quite work very well, but branch is perfectly centered. I'm happy with that. I'm thrilled with that one. So what I'm going to do is we go to the send panel. Now our foil quill is obviously taken a little while, so our foil quill is now nice and warm. We select the outside section, so the part in black, and we select no sketch, because what we want to do is we want to first go over with the foil quill, then we remove the foil, and then we cut the shape out of that. Actually, let me do the setup of this first in Silhouette Studio so that I can show you what I do. So with this one, there's obviously no tool, so I'm going to use the pen, obviously in tool holder 1, because I don't want it to detect. It won't detect anything, so then it won't write. We're going to put the force significantly lower than 18. 18 is far too high. I would say about 7 or 8, and the speed, I think when I did this one, I think I did it on a speed of about 3, because we were working with the thicker one. The first time I tried it, it was on a high speed and a high force, and it almost completely stuffed up the foil, so I definitely don't recommend that. So let's try with a low force. The force worked beautifully when I tested it yesterday, and the speed was also quite low as well. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take out the foil quill, take off the paper, switch over the blade to the auto blade. I know, Cameo 4 auto blade, not always a good idea, but anyway, mine's still new, it hasn't given me any problems yet. Hold thumbs. So, so we're going to try with that, and then I'm going to change the tool. It'll detect the auto blade's there. You can then change it to cut. and then you have your normal vinyl cut settings for this one. But we're obviously going to have it on sketch for now, and we're going to start with the foil. What we do is we can see that it's beautifully cut everything, beautifully drawn everything rather. So now we just take off the foil. Perfect, absolutely perfect. And then, like I said, we're going to take out the foil quill, unplug it so that it starts cooling down. We don't want to burn anything, so we put this in a safe space where it's not going to burn anything, and then we put the auto blade back in. Okay, make sure that it's flush to the bottom of the carrier, and then we clip it back into place. Okay, now that that's done, we've obviously changed to our auto blade, and now we're going to be doing the rest of the steps. So we change the action to cut. We change the tool to auto blade detected, because it'll obviously tell us what it has detected there. And I'm going to leave it on vinyl glossy, and then we're going to switch over the ones that we need to cut. So I'm going to highlight everything, select no cut. Okay, then we're going to select the black background part, and we're going to go cut, because obviously we only need to cut the edge. And then we're going to send it to the Cameo. As always, before we remove or unload the mat, we're going to check that it's cut properly. Okay, I'm very happy with that cut, so we can unload. Okay, so now we're able to take it off the mat. So let's take it off the mat. So I'm going to just take the whole thing off. Okay. Technically you want to peel this off. I see that it's sticking a bit, which is okay. Reason 2 why we use transfer tape instead of our mat, because that obviously would have been on your mat and now it's not. So let's take a look-see. Let's take off the excess. Okay, beautifully cut. Super easy to weed. Shh, shh, shh. Okay. You can, there might be a little bit of excess foil on there. You can always just brush it off. It gets stuck on there every now and then. But that is completely and utterly perfect. Do a bit of a close-up. You can see how it's nice and thick. I mean, it honestly looks like it's been professionally done, which is what I love. And now you can put these in your kitchen, and you can have your kitchen looking amazing. So it's my favorite thing. I'm even going to tell you a little secret about these ones that I did yesterday. So Chop Me forgot to change from sketch to cut. So obviously I ended up cutting straight through the paper. Anyway, this is what it was supposed to look like. That's why I've done it again. These are also a great item to sell. If you have the commercial license for the font, you can actually make these to sell. This design, you can also get the commercial license for it on Silhouette Studio. And I'm pretty sure these would be big sellers. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope that you learned something new, that we can obviously use the foil quill on adhesive vinyl. It's fantastic. And I hope that you share what your pantry looks like or what you've used this application on. Obviously you don't have to just use it for pantry labels. You can use it for stickers on your laptop, stickers on your cell phone, on your Cameo. I mean, like, think about how beautiful that would look. You can use it on pretty much anything. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more of my videos in the future, you can subscribe to my channel on that side. On this side, YouTube will show you my latest video, and below that, something that they think that you'll enjoy. Have a lovely day, everyone, and remember, be kind to someone today. See you next time.